The one thing that this chapter has showed me is that Shin has truly stepped up when it comes to replacing Sakamoto in this arc. When Sakamoto is at his lowest possible point, and I mean the lowest that Sakamoto has ever fallen. We have seen Sakamoto in dark places before, right? When Sakamoto is faced with danger to his family, there have been moments where he has shown direct anger and has even fumbled before. But now that Sakamoto quite literally can't do his job as the protector, as the person that leads this group of badass assassins on, honestly, again, the biggest crisis that this country has probably faced in years, Shin is the one that is stepping up. Not only was Shin's idea to broadcast his ESP across the radio broadcast waves and project his mental control over large areas and districts of Japan and have them all fire off their bullets, the very fact that by the end of this chapter, Uzuki himself is the one that comes to confront Shin. Uzuki didn't send a lackey. Uzuki didn't send, Gozu or Kumanomi. Uzuki showed up himself, jumping off of a freaking jet plane, mind you, but that's beside the point. It shows how much of a problem that Shin has become. And even Kashima and Azakura talk about this as Shin is rushing to go to the next broadcast tower despite bleeding from his nose and showing signs of exhaustion. Both Azakura and Kashima admit that not only has Shin grown up a decent amount, how far he's come from the very beginning of the series to feeling like he can't stand up to Sakamoto, to in the JCC arc being able to beat Club Jam. During the exhibition arc, he was able to quote unquote beat Haruma. In the prison arc where Shin really became his own person and reached a level of power that he was able to defeat someone like Tenkyu, it makes a lot of sense that Kashima would say that Shin would be enemy number one. All of these districts firing their guns off and essentially blowing the load early, without lack of a better phrase, for Uzuki's plan of freedom and social experimenting to see what society becomes when you let people kill each other. Nothing stands in the way more than Shin clearing out multiple districts and just ending this experiment early. And it's part of the reason why Uzuki shows up himself, because Shin hurting Uzuki exactly where nothing could hurt him more. At his philosophy, at his plan that Uzuki has been doing everything for throughout the entire series. One of the funniest things in the world to me, all of these people were firing their guns at the floor. We talked about people shooting themselves in the foot. I don't think there is someone in this chapter that shot themselves in the foot more than Uzuki. Uzuki talked a big game about his understanding of philosophy and society and how he just wants to watch everything burn. Yet at the same time, as this person that wanted to see what society would become when letting it run free with no social contract, he put in a chip into every single gun that had a master control that would be able to lock every single gun. I guess from Uzuki's standpoint, this stops the ability of the citizens revolting against him or people stockpiling guns and changing the status quo or amassing too much power, which is undoubtedly what would eventually happen. We would just become full-on, gang anarchy. That goes against everything he supposedly stands for. If the people were to take all of the guns and revolt against Uzuki, is that not what your social experiment led to? The people didn't want to do this and they took you out and, publicly executed you? Didn't you just publicly execute Asaki previously? So it stands to me that his unrealized hypocrisy in his own ideal world that he's trying to create is what led to his loss in this chapter. Because not only does Shin basically ruin multiple districts of Japan, as they go to approach the Sky Tower, where Heisuke and everybody else come to the conclusion that is the largest tower in the country of Japan that might be able to send Shin's broadcast waves across everywhere in the country. What Uzuki does here to stop this? He takes a jet plane and crash lands into the Sky Tower to stop Shin from doing this broadcast, which, kudos to Uzuki for being able to figure out their plan. Funnily enough here, implanting the chip into all of these guns, as we learned earlier, Natsuki Shiba and the other JCC students were able to find out the loophole of the master control chip. Apparently, through some crazy hacking shenanigans, because Shiba is literally the meme of just, I'm in, was just able to hack into the mainframe and lock every single gun in the country. Not only did Siba come in at the perfect time, because after the jet plane crash lands into the tower, not only is, everyone out of consciousness, and Shin is the only one left that can fight Uzuki. Uzuki doesn't even want to go for a shonen fight. He said, I'm just gonna pull the gun on you and shoot you right on the head, which shows how serious of a problem Shin is. However, again, this is where the master control switch shoots Uzuki in one foot, because the master control switch completely stops the gun right at the time that Uzuki was about to fire, saving Shin's life. Siba and Shin, even completely in separate areas of the country, are still working together unknowingly, perfectly synchronized to take out enemies. These two characters who were at once enemies. We've got to give it to Suzuki for putting that together. Where the second bullet comes through Uzuki's foot, that was a little bit of a crazy jump in plot for Siba to be able to hack into the gun mainframe from the JCC, not even have to enter Uzuki's headquarters or something like that, which is what we kind of assumed is what would happen. The only reason Siba was able to hack from this far away was because the main security system tied into the main frequency, whatever hacking shenanigans there were all held at the Sky Tower. So Uzuki flying a jet plane into the Sky Tower to throw Shin off guard and kill Shin completely left open the mainframe for the guns to be hacked. Uzuki destroyed the tower and also set up the mainframe switch that stopped his way of killing Shin and ending his experiment early. And even though Uzuki is probably stronger than Shin right now, I do think it is absolutely amazing that not only was Shin able to, as Uzuki says, remind him of Sakamoto, the ultimate glaze of all time, because of how much Shin has stepped up. I don't think anyone should come to save Shin here. I think Shin, with everything that he has earned in the series, should be able to stand against Uzuki. I don't think he should win, but I do think that these two characters deserve a chapter or two to go up against one another, because genuinely speaking, Shin has come so far. I feel it's right for him to be able to fight Uzuki, the main villain, for a little bit. We'll just have to wait and see. Let me know what you guys are feeling in the comments if you think Shin has gone far enough to fight. Because obviously, if Takamura Uzuki comes out, Shin doesn't stand a chance. But if it's just plain Uzuki, I think Shin might be able to hold his own for at least long enough for someone else to come to. And I think that would be the awesomest moment for Shin to prove he is stepping into Sakamoto's shoes perfectly. Until next chapter, guys, just know I will be covering every single chapter of Sakamoto Days every week it comes out. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like the video, because it lets me know that you guys want more content like this and that you guys enjoy what you're watching. Helps the channel way more than you know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, 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 peace.